Hi, I'm Greg Jeffers. Over the last two videos, I've laid waste to the leftist gender oppression narrative for the pre-industrial period in North America. That period was marked by incredible bravery and the cooperation between men and women in the face of hunger, disease, and death. They dedicated their lives to the survival of their children and a path to the future for their culture and civilization. This is their true legacy. Life was, is, and will always be a ferocious competition for progeny and primacy. The purpose of faith, culture, philosophy, and morality is to temper that ferocity with appeals to our common humanity in an ongoing effort at fellowship, traditions, and principles. This was the primary purpose of the community's weekly church or synagogue gathering. Today, most Americans no longer gather in fellowship to recognize our common humanity and need for fellowship. And now, all we have left is the ferocious competition. And now there are many more losers in this brutal struggle than at any other time in the history of man. Out here in flyover land, that's what the big shots call the land between LA and New York, deaths of despair, suicide, drug overdose, alcoholism, and fast and processed foods have killed more people than all of our many wars combined. That's unacceptable. But the people of flyover land don't vote blue. What are the phrases the left uses to denigrate these good people? They cling to their God and guns. Oh, and they are deplorable. Well, I don't think the people of flyover land are deplorable. I think they are human beings with an incredible, almost mythical history. A history that the cabal controlling the media, academia, and government have tried to recast as something evil. The people of flyover land have suffered greatly at the hands of the indoctrination machine that, on the one hand, deletes their history, cancels their expressions and opinions, and mocks them, and on the other, is only too happy to take their sons and throw them into the maw of the military-industrial complex and its forever war machine. Come on, how many Hollywood kids died in Iraq or Afghanistan? Well, I see their humanity, and I think that it wouldn't take much to improve their lives, health, and wealth. And I think the best way to go about that is to retry some of the best ideas that history has produced. Some cultural ideas are simply better than others. Our Judeo-Christian heritage and the values of personal responsibility and liberty, simplicity, and Ayn Rand's definition of integrity, which I have thought about for years and have not been able to improve upon, as expressed in our efforts for our family and community, are certainly worth a try. And then there is the 800-pound gorilla in the room. American families' ability to live in genuine cooperation and interdependence have been crushed, demolished, and shattered by a hate-filled cadre of people who didn't think they needed something better to be ready and on hand to replace what they destroyed. The 800-pound gorilla in this room is the gender war. The political movement against men, maleness, and masculinity has brought America nothing but misery. This despicable set of circumstances grew out of the greatest lie ever told in American political history, and I will get to that lie in an upcoming video, but maybe over on Rumble, where I won't get canceled. But the truth is, we don't need to spend any more time arguing over the past. We need to patch up our families and reinstall the idea of genuine cooperative and interdependent community. And the opening stage of this process must come from our women. Men have already waved the white flag, and you can see that in our disgraceful fertility rate. Women can't live without men any more than men can live without women. We need and belong to each other. Women must decide whom they want to be married to and depend upon, the government or a flesh and bone man. An imperfect man, to be sure, but who would be right for an imperfect woman to raise children in a stable home, to care for those children and to see to their well-being and to put those children and their needs first. Because where did our perceived needs come from? The narrative police. The same people who cancel and censor and harass anyone who dares to disagree with their orthodoxy. According to the CDC, half of the American women under the age of 45 are childless. This is a human tragedy, and it is high time we do something about it. The first step is for our women to decide what they want. Do women want a husband and an intact family? Or do they want broken homes, government intervention in their personal lives? With your children, if you are lucky enough to even have one, eating microwaved, processed food alone in a diabetic stupor at the two-chair dinner table waiting for mom to get home from her exciting career in her human resources job for the local meds or eds outfit. That's medicine or education for you newbies. Because that is where we are now. And I'm saying there's a better way. There must be. Because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, right? Well, I think we need to try something new. My Quaker ancestors were the first to acknowledge the equality of the ministry of women and the humanity of all people. We must cooperate again and not let the cabal triangulate us into political enemies. And we must start producing children again. And children must come during the epoch of youth and beauty. For we are mortal, and life has seasons. Thank you. This is Greg Jeffers for the American Quaker Friends Church.